Most people believe freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. Eat what you crave, sleep when you feel tired, speak without restraint, live without rules. They think this is the highest form of life, the essence of liberty. But look closer, and you will see the truth. That kind of freedom is not freedom at all. It is slavery dressed in disguise. A man who eats whatever he wants is not free. He is a slave to his appetite. A woman who sleeps whenever she feels like it is not free. She is bound by her laziness. A man who explodes with anger at every provocation is not free. He is shackled by his emotions. What most people call freedom is simply obedience to their impulses. The Stoics saw this long ago. Seneca wrote, "To be enslaved to your desires is the worst form of bondage." He understood what modern people forget. True freedom is not doing everything you want, but having the strength to rule yourself. Imagine a man in a prison cell. The door is wide open. He can leave whenever he wants, but he chooses to stay because he is addicted to comfort. He has food, a bed, a small window. Outside is the unknown, the struggle, the work. So he stays in chains, even though the key lies in his own hand. This is the state of most lives today, surrounded by comfort, but imprisoned by it. Think about your own life. How often do you check your phone without thinking? How often do you eat when you are not hungry? Watch when you are not interested, speak when you should be silent. Each time, you are not free. You are a puppet, pulled by invisible strings. The illusion of freedom is the greatest lie of our age. Advertisements scream that freedom is indulgence, that freedom is comfort, that freedom is saying yes to every desire. But what they are really selling is weakness. Because a life without discipline is a life without direction, and a life without direction is already lost.
So the first truth is this: freedom without discipline is an illusion. It feels like liberty, but it is chains. And until you see that clearly, you will never break free.
Pause now and reflect. What desires, what habits, what impulses rule you today? And ask yourself, is this freedom, or is this the sweetest form of slavery? If freedom without discipline is slavery, then where does true freedom come from? The answer is simple, though few dare to live it: discipline. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is the structure that makes greatness possible. Discipline is the path of the warrior, the athlete, the creator, the leader. Without it, nothing lasting is built. With it, everything becomes possible. Picture a soldier on the battlefield. Bullets fly. Explosions shake the ground. Chaos surrounds him. If he reacts to every sound, if he panics, he dies. What keeps him alive is discipline. Training drilled into his body, rules that guide his movement, habits that sharpen his instincts. His freedom to survive is born from his discipline to obey the code. The same is true for life. The man who wakes early, not because he feels like it, but because he is committed to his purpose, is free. The woman who eats with restraint, not because she never feels hunger, but because she chooses health, is free. The worker who remains calm under pressure, not because stress does not exist, but because he refuses to be its slave, is free. Discipline is choosing what matters over what tempts. It is saying no to the easy path, so you can say yes to the meaningful one. It is walking the road less traveled, not because it is comfortable, but because it leads somewhere worth going. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor, slept on the floor at times, reminding himself that comfort was not a need. Epictetus, born a slave, found freedom not in chains breaking, but in mastering his will. They knew what most people forget. Discipline builds resilience, and resilience is the foundation of freedom. Now bring this to your own life. Think of the last time you avoided discipline. You skipped the workout and felt weaker. You broke your promise and felt guilty. You indulged in excess and felt empty. That is not freedom. That is bondage. Now think of the last time you practiced discipline. You rose early and felt proud. You pushed through discomfort and felt strong. You stayed silent when anger urged you to speak and felt powerful. That is freedom. Discipline does not remove struggle. It transforms it. It turns pain into strength, chaos into clarity, time into progress. Without discipline, time slips away. With discipline, time becomes your servant. So the second truth is this: discipline is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. It is the weapon of the warrior, the compass of the wise, the shield of the strong. And if you wish to be free, you must walk the path of discipline. Ask yourself now, where in your life do you confuse freedom with weakness? Where must you bring discipline to create true freedom? Remember, no empire, no legacy, no great soul was ever built without it. Look closely at modern life, and you will see chains everywhere. They are not made of iron. They are woven from habit, distraction, and indulgence. The glow of the screen that steals your mornings. The constant hunger for sugar and comfort. The endless need for likes and recognition. Most people wear these chains proudly, calling them freedom. But freedom, they are not. Every time you surrender to an impulse, the chain tightens. Every time you skip what you know you must do, another link is forged. At first it feels light, almost invisible. But over time the weight grows heavy, until one day you realize you no longer command your own life. You are commanded by the very habits you created. The Stoics warned against this subtle slavery. They taught that the man who cannot control himself is the lowest of slaves, even if he wears a crown. An emperor addicted to pleasure is less free than a beggar who governs his will. Think of the man who says he is free because he eats and drinks without restraint. But watch him when his cravings are denied, and you will see his prison. Think of the woman who says she is free because she speaks without filter. But watch her when her words destroy relationships, and you will see her chains. Discipline is the act of breaking these silent chains. Each time you rise when you want to stay in bed, you break one. Each time you resist the easy pleasure for the higher goal, you break another. Discipline is not the forging of chains. It is the key that unlocks them. Reflect now. What chains hold you today? Are you bound by the screen, by the habit, by the comfort that whispers you are free while it quietly enslaves you? Until you face them, you cannot escape them. And until you practice discipline, you will never taste freedom. Discipline has an enemy, and that enemy is comfort. The world teaches you to avoid pain, to seek ease, to escape effort. But this is a lie that has weakened generations. For pain is not the enemy. Pain is the path. The athlete who endures training, the scholar who studies late into the night, the craftsman who works through fatigue. Each of them knows the paradox. The pain of discipline is sharp but short. The pain of regret is endless. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort because they understood this. They fasted when food was abundant. They wore rough clothes when silk was available. They walked in the cold when fire was near. They did this not to suffer, but to remind themselves that comfort is not a need, and that the body is stronger than the mind believes. You may think this practice belongs to the past, but look at the modern world, drowning in luxury, and you will see why it is more needed than ever. Obesity, addiction, distraction, weakness of will. These are not diseases of poverty. They are diseases of comfort. Discipline demands that you embrace discomfort. Rise earlier than you want. Push your body when it cries for rest. Speak truth when silence would be easier. Deny yourself what weakens you so that you can give yourself what strengthens you. Pain is not a punishment. It is a teacher. Each time you endure it, you grow. Each time you choose it willingly, you build resilience. And resilience is freedom. The man who fears no pain is unshakable. The man who hides from discomfort is already defeated. Ask yourself now, do you run from pain, or do you use it? Do you seek comfort, or do you seek growth? When the storm comes, as it always does, will you be ready? Or will you discover that comfort has left you soft, unprepared, and chained? The paradox is clear. Pain chosen through discipline is the path to freedom. Pain avoided is the path to slavery. The choice is yours. Nothing in this world that lasts is built without discipline. Castles do not rise from sand. Bridges do not stand without structure. And lives do not shine without order. Discipline is the architecture of greatness, the unseen framework behind every achievement. Look at history. The philosopher writing his meditations at dawn, the general training his army in the cold, the artist repeating brushstroke after brushstroke until perfection is born. What appears effortless to the world is always built on discipline behind closed doors. Modern people envy results but reject discipline. They want strength without training, wealth without saving, wisdom without study, mastery without sacrifice. But the Stoics knew the truth. Every structure rises from foundation, and that foundation is discipline. Think of the musician. He plays beautifully, not because he is free from rules, but because he mastered them. Hours of scales, years of practice, endless repetition. Discipline gave him freedom. Freedom to create, to improvise, to inspire. Without discipline, his music would be noise. So it is with life. The man who disciplines his habits builds strength. The woman who disciplines her focus builds clarity. The leader who disciplines his words builds trust. Greatness is not an accident, it is architecture. And discipline is the architect. Reflect for a moment. What greatness do you seek? A body strong, a mind calm, a legacy that endures. Whatever it is, you will not find it in comfort, in distraction, in indulgence. You will find it in discipline, brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. The architecture of your life is being built with every decision. The question is, will it stand when storms come, or will it crumble because you refuse to lay the stones of discipline? There is a freedom deeper than comfort, richer than indulgence, greater than pleasure. It is the freedom of self-mastery, the freedom to say yes when it matters and no when it must. The freedom to command your body, to direct your mind, to govern your soul. This is the taste of true freedom. Most people will never taste it. They are too distracted, too comfortable, too weak to pay the price. But for those who dare, the reward is beyond measure. The Stoics tasted this freedom. Epictetus, though born a slave, declared that no man could enslave his will. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, ruled not just an empire but himself, finding peace and discipline amidst chaos. They were not free because life gave them ease. They were free because discipline gave them mastery. Discipline frees you from fear. When you train your body, you no longer fear hardship. When you discipline your mind, you no longer fear opinion. When you discipline your soul, you no longer fear death. For what is there left to fear? When you have proven you can endure anything. Think of the man who rises at dawn to train, not because he must, but because he chooses. Think of the woman who speaks truth, though the crowd mocks, not because it is easy, but because it is right. Think of the worker who saves when others spend, who builds when others waste, who stands when others fall. They are not bound, they are free. This freedom cannot be bought. It cannot be gifted. It cannot be stolen. It can only be earned through discipline. Every sacrifice sharpens it. Every choice strengthens it. Every hardship embraced expands it. Ask yourself now, do you truly know freedom, or have you only known comfort? Have you tasted mastery, or only indulgence? The answer lies not in what you desire, but in what you discipline. Remember this. Pleasure is sweet but fleeting. Comfort is soft but shallow. Discipline is hard, but its fruit is eternal. It is the taste of true freedom. Time is the most precious resource you will ever own, yet it is the one most easily wasted. People guard their money but spend their hours carelessly, as if tomorrow is guaranteed. They scroll, they drift, they delay, and when years vanish, they wonder where freedom went. The truth is simple. If you cannot discipline your time, you cannot discipline your life. The Stoics reminded themselves daily that time is short. Marcus Aurelius wrote, You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. He knew that discipline with time is not about rigidity. It is about respect. Respect for life, respect for opportunity, respect for the limited hours you are given. Think of the man who wastes mornings in bed. His hours slip away, and with them, his potential. He is not free. He is chained to laziness. Now think of the one who rises early, who gives his first strength to his highest purpose. His hours multiply, his progress compounds, his life expands. This is freedom. Discipline with time is not about doing everything. It is about doing what matters. It is the art of saying no to distractions so you can say yes to destiny. Ask yourself now, where is your time leaking? Who or what is stealing it? And are you willing to guard it with the discipline it deserves? For in the end, time will discipline you whether you choose it or not. The question is, will you master it now or regret it later? The world looks at discipline and sees chains. They think rules restrict, habits confine, structure suffocates. But those who live it know the opposite. Discipline is not chains, it is wings. The man who disciplines his body is free to climb mountains others cannot. The woman who disciplines her mind is free to think clearly when others drown in noise. The soul that disciplines its desires is free to love, to give, to live without fear. Discipline is the great paradox. It feels heavy at first, but over time it makes you light. It feels strict, but it opens doors. It feels limiting, but it reveals possibilities. The undisciplined man is pulled by every desire, every fear, every distraction. He is tossed like a leaf in the wind. The disciplined man stands like a tree, rooted and unshakable, yet free to grow toward the sky. The Stoics understood this freedom. They trained not to imprison themselves, but to set themselves loose from the grip of the world. They chose restraint, so they could live without fear of loss. They chose simplicity, so they could walk unburdened. They chose discipline and found freedom. So remember this: discipline is not a punishment. It is not a cage. It is not a thief of joy. It is the very thing that makes joy possible. Without discipline, you will be owned by your impulses. With discipline, you own yourself. And that, above all, is freedom. You now know that freedom is not found in indulgence, but in discipline. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. It is having the strength to do what you must. And when you live this truth, you walk through life untouchable, unshaken, unstoppable. But there is one more enemy that must be faced. Not outside, but inside. It is not laziness. It is not distraction. It is not comfort. It is the illusion of control. The belief that you can bend the world to your will, when in truth the only thing you ever command is yourself. In the next part of Master Your Mind, we will face this illusion head-on. We will uncover why chasing control over everything only leads to despair, and how surrender to what you cannot change becomes the highest form of strength. Stay with me. Part 7 is waiting, and it will change the way you see life forever.